Hello everybody, today we're going to be making a video of the most strongest megalodon in media. And this video is made by, I'm not going to say his name at all. So this video was actually made by this guy, link in the description down below, and yeah, let's start.
Most of the time, predators are smaller than the prey, and this is to keep some sort of balance, although the main reason is due to energy. Most of the time, predators are smaller than the prey, and this is to keep some sort of balance, although the main reason is due to energy transfer because larger predators do need larger sums of food. Can you imagine if hyenas were the size of Cape Buffalo? Everything on the plains is going to get targeted. I'm not saying they're always smaller, sometimes they're the same size like the Triceratops and the T-Rex. Despite this, the largest land predator is dwarfed by the largest herbivores to ever walk the earth. The megalodon has given this a new twist. It's not just the largest fish to ever exist.
Yeah, I looked it up once this morning, this morning, last time, and this thing's like practically big. Like, let me show you, let me show you how big this is.
The megalodon, Otodus megalodon, was the largest shark that ever lived and one of the largest fish known to have existed. However, its exact size has been a topic of scientific debate due to the lack of complete fossilized skeletons. Estimates are primarily based on the size of its massive teeth and some vertebral remains. Here's a breakdown of the megalodon's estimated size. Length. Most scientific estimates place the adult megalodon in the range of 10 to 18 meters, 33 to 59 feet. However, some more recent studies, based on vertebral columns, suggest a potential maximum length of up to 24.3 meters, 80 feet, for the...
So in other words, this thing is practically bigger than a whale, basically.
But one of the largest animals that ever inhabited this world's oceans. The average weight for this prehistoric shark was anywhere between 50 and 70 tons. Now I don't know how accurate this is, but ever since the mid last year, I've been seeing a lot of different sources saying that this animal can weigh over 100 tons. I don't know how true that is, but if it is, it could be the largest predator to ever exist as well. With it being considered the ultimate ocean nightmare, there's been a bunch of different movies with the megalodon. Some of these animals are more than 1,400 feet long and can catch a fighter jet mid-flight, while others can form a storm and extend their search for food to the land. After who knows how long, I'm finally doing a video on all the different megalodons in cinema. By the way, some of the movies don't explicitly say that it's a megalodon, but let's be honest, we know it's a megalodon. Alright, with that finally over, let's get right into the most extreme versions of these big chunguses. The first and most powerful one. By the way, some of the movies don't explicitly say that it's a megalodon, but let's be honest, we know it's a megalodon. Alright, with that finally over, let's get right into the most extreme versions of these big chunguses.
That sick is over here doing a freaking somersault. This man over doing some doing some Olympic stuff. Look at this. This man over doing Olympic stuff just to destroy this goddamn ship.
The first and most powerful one by far, by a massive margin, is the megalodon from the Mega Shark movies. Even though all four of these movies have a different individual animal, they all have the same abilities that should just not be possible. The second movie, Mega Shark vs. Crocosaurus, was my favorite and the only one I actually watched to the end. I'm a really big reptile fan, so this one pulled my interest. This Croczilla is 1,500 feet long and the shark is just behind it in terms of length, but probably heavier. The shark's size fluctuates throughout the entire movie, but at its largest it's bigger than a battleship, which means it somehow weighs somewhere around 50,000 tons. Despite its size, it's large enough to leap out of the water and hit ships in just the right position so that an explosion could happen. I don't know how it does it, but it's best not to question sci-fi logic. I don't know why it even does this when it could just ram the ships and destroy them. It's fast enough to keep up with underwater missiles too, and even a submarine isn't safe, it just grabs the thing like a big dog with a stick. When it does end up fighting with Crocosaurus, the shark usually has the upper hand, and they only died when they formed a suicide pact off camera and decided to keep a firm hold of the other's tail as they then fall into a volcano. By far the most badass thing this animal has done was somehow being able to calculate the exact time it needed to jump in order to take fighter jets out of the sky. It's something like the giant trevallies do with fledglings that are just learning to fly. They anticipate where the bird will end up with its current speed and they aim for that. The first Meg was a great movie, but after that I don't know what they were thinking. In the second movie, a megalodon is somehow able to jump onto a beach to murk Rexy's great-great-grandfather. Any other aquatic animal even half that size would be beached due to the weight. But this 80+ ton shark was able to flip itself back into the water. That's cool and all, but it doesn't compare to the mega shark who went into an entire city to settle the score with Crocosaurus. That's right, this 50,000 ton shark with movie magic propelled itself into the city where it bit the oversized gecko and attempted to drag it back into the water. This particular megalodon species can tank missile ammo and other forms of explosives.
I find that crazy how that thing just did a whole somersault over the ship and then just fell on it. And I find how crazy how that megalodon just sat here and just somehow calculated when that goddamn plane was going. I jumped and ate it.
That could destroy a two-story house. In Mecha Shark vs. Mega Shark, it jumped onto an aircraft carrier which can be more than 90,000 tons and was able to flip it over, and then it casually decided to destroy an entire oil rig. In the first movie to this bizarre little trilogy, this fish propelled its many-ton body out of the water and took a bite out of a concrete bridge meant for large vehicles, while my ass finds it hard to even bite through a Jolly Rancher. It was in good spirits that they did try to end it by making a robot version though. I don't know why all movies do this. Just because you create a robot version of something doesn't mean it's gonna get better, because the real shark just decimated the robot. This time it was defeated by biting a bomb and having its head blown off. In all 4 movies, the most insane thing that this shark has survived was being thrown into outer space. That's right, in Mega Shark vs. Colossus, it was thrown into space and hit a satellite, where it came crashing down back to the planet and somehow survived. I hate to be that guy, but the water would be like concrete at that height, and this thing still managed to live. In most of the movies, it shows basically the exact same feats, destroying ships, soaking up explosives, etc, etc, which is fine, but the next shark can do most of this while hunting in packs. The very thought of a giant shark capable of taking down fleet ships living in the same ocean you do your cruises on is absolutely horrifying. But there's one thing even worse, and that's multiple of these exact same sharks working in sync to eliminate threats. So this one has 2 movies, Megalodon and Megalodon Uprising. From what I found online, apparently the 2 aren't meant to be related, but I say they are because the shark models are exactly the same. In Megalodon 2018, the shark has a little design tweak from the most generic sharks in these sort of movies. It has protruding bumps all along its body that makes the shark look like something out of Pirates of the Caribbean. While not as large as the first shark, it's still pretty big. It's able to make what I can only assume a fin whale look small just before it ate it. While the mega shark was able to ragdoll a submarine like a chew toy, this megalodon somehow swallowed one. I know some sharks like tiger sharks have been found with tires, pieces of metal and other inanimate stuff in their stomachs, but this is a different level of gluttony. With that said, the submarine was able to escape its mouth somehow. Despite being smaller, this shark doesn't do the jumping attack to specifically take down large ships. It always just rams the fleet ships and calls it a day, and is able to take on larger explosions to the body and just swim off. I was about to say that it had more durability than the first one.
Wow.
I was about to say that it had more durability than the first one, but nothing can top something that falls.
Check it out. That's like I would've. Dang it, phone. That's like I would've got thrown out into space. Like, how do you survive that? How?
From the stratosphere. Despite that, it still does end up dying from an explosion when it crashes through a wall and some guy is just waiting for it with a lighter. Dude really thought he was Arthur Morgan. The second movie, Megalodon Rising, has these bastards working in packs to take out ships. Like a well-oiled machine, they work together to sink ships even bigger than the ones in the first movie, and one made another aircraft carrier lean on its side without any struggle. And while in almost every giant shark movies these guys bite boats, submarines and somehow aircraft, very few of them are seen actually deliberately trying to eat the stuff. The megalodons in the second movie actively keep on tearing chunks from the ships and start eating them. Not throwing them to the side, just straight up eating the pieces of metal like a toddler with some Tide Pods. And their bite is more like a piranha than a shark. Like in this clip where it leaves a clean bite mark after chomping on the other side of this boat. It almost looks like a popsicle after you bite it. Most other shark movies usually have some other monster of the sort in the same universe that the sharks usually fight in order to eat. But what I've seen in both movies, the largest things these animals have to eat mar whales, which can't support these animals that weigh more than 1,000 tons. Because unlike fish, whales have a much longer pregnancy cycle and only reproduce every couple of years with just one calf. Well, usually just one. So it would make sense as to why all these sharks are so aggressive towards anything that moves. The sharks can also now just take missiles directly to their faces instead of just a shockwave after the missile goes off, and one takes prolonged hits from a laser beam without a drop of blood being exposed. The part about this movie that really pissed me off was the way one of the sharks was defeated. The first two went out with massive explosions, but this one died after being hit from a missile that was even less powerful than the ones it was already taken in earlier. The next sharks are the most popular megalodons that have ever been shown on screen. They still have a few things going for them. Even if I didn't want to do this, the Megs were going to be on the list regardless.
The one and only megalodon that I think is cool.
Their intelligence combined with raw power make them worthy adversaries to both themselves and the other creatures they share their home with. These megalodons are more paleo-accurate in terms of size, between 60 and 110 tons, and is the most maneuverable shark so far. In the second movie, the Meg jumped on a T-Rex on shore and was somehow able to get itself back into the water. Even killer whales that weigh 8 of the shark can't get themselves back in the water if that far on land. And when they do try to get back into the water, they wiggle themselves back in with the help of the tides. Not this shark though. It has enough power to jump like a walrus or elephant seal back in the ocean. Just it being on land would cause it to start suffocating from all the weight not being supported by a medium. So jumping should have obliterated its cartilage skeleton. The animals are smart too. One Meg called Hakai was trained since she was a pup and does not attack people when it hears a certain sound. I'm not gonna say the shark was tamed like a puppy or anything because I don't think they have that level of intelligence to form a bond. It's simply an action it was trained to and not to do. It is really impressive for a fish though, a shark even more. She's also powerful for her size, Meg-wise. As the giant octopus took her at death's door when it was crushing her, she summoned every ounce of strength within her body to move up and get a bite in, which sealed the octopus's fate. The biggest of these sharks, called Scarface by the fanbase, is about a quarter larger than Heike and is somewhat a leader in this little school of Megs in the trench. On top of that, he was the only shark that's capable of shattering Meg-proof glass. The original Meg left teeth marks, but this thing just crashed through like it was a piece of plyboard. And unlike most sharks that have to do a wide turn to change direction when moving at their fastest, this one could just change direction on a dime while going more than 60 miles per hour. Their durability is, well, realistic. I think they would be able to tank a small explosive here and there, but anything like submarine missiles would turn them into sushi. I mean, the first one died from having a spear go through his eye, while the other got killed with a piece of metal. It does have enough intelligence to hold a grudge though, since it specifically targeted Statham for a good portion of the movie. There is a chance that the other two sharks early on the list could have died like that too, but you'd need a way bigger spear, and of course Statham. A little sidetrack from the storytelling, but the Meg is actually not the largest predator in its universe. That distinction goes to the Liopleurodon. Yep, that's right, Walking with Dinosaurs wasn't the only show that had a massively oversized Liopleurodon. In the Meg novels, the Liopleurodon is larger than the Megs and is the direct rival to these sharks. One Liopleurodon killed one of the largest Megs in the novel, an albino female that was killed while she was trapped. However, that same Liopleurodon was then later killed, but left behind an offspring to continue the species, which means there's still a chance that this thing is somewhere in the depths of the Meg movies. The Meg is a cool shark for one based on reality, but even it would have some trouble dealing with a shark the same size that fights like a Power Ranger.
Are you kidding me?
On the YouTube Music app, you can bump your fave songs in the background while you clean.
Shark the same size that fights like a Power Ranger. The last shark is more powerful than the Meg, but hasn't increased in size. Super Shark is about the same size as the average Meg, or a bit bigger, yet is far more durable and can dish out a significantly higher amount of damage. This megalodon can be strategic at times. When missiles are fired from a massive submarine, it quickly dodges them with ease, and it even sizes up the submarine looking for a weak spot. The submarine itself is decently bigger than the animal, yet it was able to damage it enough to the point where it exploded. The biggest Meg couldn't even get into an airlock chamber when Statham and the crew first went in, so I highly doubt it would be able to damage the submarine to that degree, despite being similar in size. Just like the other sci-fi cousins, this shark has the ability to target fighter jets and jump high enough to directly hit them. The shark even manages to do some significant damage to an oil rig, despite being far, far smaller than the first behemoth. The fact that it can destroy submarines and fighter jets is impressive enough, but this shark does the one thing the others don't, or at least can't do for long. Super Shark can fight on land. Yup, that's right, this shark can move effortlessly on the land, like it was evolved in a sense despite weighing more than 45 tons. The other sharks slide back into the water or had to use every muscle in their body to try and jump back in, but this guy can just use his fins to do so. No other marine animal over 5 tons is able to move its body with its fins. Those very appendages are mainly meant for steering, which is why cetaceans and other sharks usually get stuck when they go too far upland. You guys remember the Walking with Monsters Hyneria? Yeah, it's like that, but less clumsy. The thing went up on land and does straight up combat with an armored mech and wins. Like, how are you gonna lose on your own turf? It has incredibly thick skin too. When it's blasted rung after rung from assault rifles, some of the bullets form sparks on the animal's skin, meaning some can't even penetrate it. Only a flamethrower seemed to have some sort of effect on it over time. If you thought you would have been safe if you went further up on land, you'd be dead wrong. The shark can straight up chase people while on the beach and catches some of them. It even went through the trouble of tracking a lady down to a cave, where it then tried its very hardest to eat her. It was killed the same way Mega Shark was in the second movie. A bomb blew it up from the inside, which is a solid strategy. If guns with smaller explosives don't work on the skin, then make it go kaboom from the inside. If I had to do a ranking from weakest to strongest, it would be Mega Shark, Megalodons Rising, Super Shark, and then the Meg. The Meg, despite having fantasy creatures, still tries to keep some realism within the movies, which is why they can be killed in the ways you'd expect to. But the other three are sci-fi movies, and nothing from sci-fi movies can be killed with conventional means. This video is much shorter than my usual uploads, but this is as much as I could do for now, because right after this upload I might head on to the DMV and try and get my license if I'm up to it, or I might just sleep off the rest of the day. For the full...
And yeah, that's the end of the video. Yeah, I'm gonna... Did this thing sit here? We got this big old freaking Colossus robot up in here. So I threw that thing right into freaking the space of all things, and it just fell right back in the stratosphere and right back in the ocean, and it just came out completely fine. And yeah, that's all for the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, for more right now. And if you don't feel like, if you don't like this video, just dislike the video if you feel like it, because, yeah. If you don't like the video, just dislike it. Or heck, if you like the video, just leave one like, because I don't want to have, the only thing I care about is making these videos for fun. Because I just want to have a YouTube channel so I can just make videos for fun purposes. And this is going to be a fun video. So, yeah, make sure to like, subscribe for more. Or it's just Megalodons trying to eat you. Just kidding. Megalodons don't even exist no more. Never believe any videos you see online. So, there we go. Bye. I said bye. What's going on?